Good evening, viewer. Welcome to our Glory Globe TV. Here's a breaking news. Yes, on May 8, a mysterious reusable Chinese spacecraft returned to Earth after staying in orbit for 276 days. On the face of it, it seems like a mere technological development, but from a military perspective, it has far-reaching consequences. A highly maneuverable spacecraft like this could be used to surveil, disrupt, and outright attack an opponent's space-based assets, or conversely can retrieve or otherwise interact with friendly ones. Private space services company Labs revealed on its Twitter handle that the Chinese reusable space vehicle docked with or captured a separate objects on multiple occasions during the orbit. The Chinese state-run China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation has not provided many details about its time in orbit. Highly maneuverably reusable space vehicles that can manipulate other objects in orbit could be used for research and development, but they can also act as a weapon and become satellite killers that can attack other objects in space. The ability of the Chinese space plane to capture other objects indicates the presence of robotic arms that could be used to damage or destroy an enemy satellite. The other means that can be used to disrupt the enemy space-based platforms, electronic warfare, jamming, or a high-powered microwave beam. The satellite killer can also smash itself into the target or lob projectiles at the target space objects, a capability Russia has been actively testing. The less dangerous objective of these satellites could be to shadow and gather intelligence on other space objects. The other innocuous application of this technology is to inspect, refuel, and service other space assets. Space will be an important battleground in case of a conflict between the US and China, or Russia, with the US military heavily relying on its satellite for intelligence gathering, navigation and weapon guidance, and communication and data sharing. Damage to their satellite can have a blinding effect. Yes, the US Space Force Chief of Space Operations General B. Chance Saltzman, in congressional testimony on March 14, 2023, said that China is the most immediate threat as it continues to weaponing its space technology. The most threatening Chinese technologies, he said, are ground-based lasers designed to disrupt and degrade satellite sensors, electronic warfare, jammers targeting GPS and communication satellite, and anti-satellite missile. In his testimony to the Senate Armed Services Committee Strategic Forces Subcommittee, Saltzman said China is likely pursuing anti-satellite systems able to destroy satellites in geosynchronous orbit. The geosynchronous orbit is a special position high above the Earth that allows an object to keep pace with its rotation. It is useful for satellite tasked with monitoring missions, tracking the weather, and other remote sensing tasks, and for communication satellite. That means Chinese are testing on orbit satellite systems which could be weaponized, as they have already shown the capability to physically control and move other satellites, Saltzman added. When asked to elaborate on the scenarios that can play out during a space conflict with a rival power, Saltzman said if they can blind us, if they can interfere with those capabilities, or God forbid, destroy them completely, they know that will diminish our advantage. He added, I can see interfering, I can see blinding, I can see some of those gray area kinds of attacks on our capabilities to try and put us behind the 8 ball. He said that China is grappling satellites that could pull a US spacecraft out of orbit. This is because the US relies on less than maneuverably older legacy satellites. That is why the recently constituted US Space Force planned to transition from its current geostationary satellites to a proliferated network of smaller satellites. Behind the report, Glory Globe TV, Delhi, India.